do, folks. How you doing? Just a quick one, and it will be a quick one, to be honest, because it's an answer to something that lots of people are asking lately. What can we do? Now, I'm quite vocal about what can we do. Get a time machine, turn back to the time when we were telling you and nobody was listening, and it was before it was too late. That's what you can do, in all honesty, because it is sad, and it really is a sad situation. But what we've got now is a lot of folks that are waking up now that were laughing at us a couple of years ago, and it is really sad, because yeah, they get it now, but now they're seeing people laugh at them, and they don't get why people are laughing at them, but they did it to us. So you got to realise people were told a long time ago, and if they're not getting it, and they're not prepared to get it, they're not prepared to look at it, it's not going to be got. What can you do to what? The question is, what can you do for what? Now, what can you do to put a stop to what's happening in the world? Absolutely nothing. Anybody who thinks that you can is an idiot. It is as simple as that. I'm sorry, a really nice idea. We'd all love that to be true, but you can't fucking get through this life with fluffy fucking bunny rabbits and cuddly toys. It don't work that way. It's not all candy floss. You fall out of a window, you don't land on in a skip of foam. You land on the floor and it hurts. So the world is fucked. It's fucked by design, but it's also fucked by acquiescence of those that should have really listened to those that were saying it many years ago. Not just me, there's many folks that were saying it years ago that just ignored. Not everybody knew everything, but between everybody had got it all, so pretty much everything was talked about, really. It's just that folks didn't get it or get the way out. But the getting the way out, that was always about not complying with the bullshit, and that's where we still are. But folks still comply with it. Even the folks that say they don't, they won't, and they never will, do. It's sad but true. It is as simple as that. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, people talk about concerned about the jobs. Well, my lad apparently just had an interaction at work with the health and safety, saying something about tests. Everybody's got to have a test, and he basically told him he could kiss his arse. And he says, no, you have to, it's mandatory. And he says, so what if I don't? And he says, you'll get suspended. He says, is that with or without pay? He says, it's with pay. You get suspended for 10 days. And he says, right, with pay. He says, right, what happens then? And he looked at me. He says, he looked at me, Dad, and just went, I don't know. He says, there's nothing you can do to me, is there? He says, so basically what you're telling me is if I don't have a test, I can have 10 days paid holiday. You sure you want to ask me to have a test? So yeah, cool. So maybe that's just a way to play it, folks. What if I don't? You're really going to sack me? You're going to break the law? I don't think they will. And if they do, well, you've got them. You've absolutely got them. It's a crazy, wonky old world. But back to what can we do? As far as that's concerned, absolutely nothing. So what can you do on your own level? Lots of protection you can take on your own level. You can learn some shit, which is what we all favour, what we prefer everybody to do. But there is unchainedremedy.com there. And we do explain most. We try, because we do want folks to learn, and we want folks to do things themselves. We explain things as well as do certain things for folks. But we explain it all. Everything that can be explained, we do explain. There's templates on DSARs and processors, and there's an entire court case on the or court claim on the section, which the entire section's free. There's free sections, so go in the free sections, take what you want. There are also the sections where remuneration is required, and that is required for a damn good reason. There's a hell of a lot of work that goes into each and every one of those, and I know there's folks that are whinging about the fees on some of the top ones. Look into it, look into what there is there, and realise that that's not the needs, that's the wants. I want that. Well, if I wanted you as a bricklayer to come and build me an extension on my house, you're not going to come and do it for shits and giggles, and it'll take ongoing work as well, so you're not going to do it and then come back and repoint it every year for shits and giggles. So that's the reality, because they're the wants. The needs, they're in the free sections. What people need are in the free section, and other than that they need to learn shit. And all of the wants as well, the ones that can, are explained away. So what can you do? Important things that you can do. Well, you can, like I say, learn some shit. But we do have some things in there. We have a brand new thing, I'm not sure if it's uploaded yet or it's coming soon or it's nearly there or whatever, is the status corrected last will and testament. A will for the living man and woman, not the corporate fiction, and not for hire or taxation. So that could come in very handy where inheritance tax is concerned, and we also have an ace up our sleeve with inheritance tax in particular. So that's there. There's what we got, your genome, copyright your genome. Now if the genome's copyrighted to you at law, then what can anybody do to alter that genome without breaching the copyright? So there's that there. Private equitable trusts, of course, the trusts are there. Lots of folks out there taking trusts and selling them on and passing them on. Be very, very wary. If they don't know what they're talking about, then they could get you into a lot of trouble. If they can't hold a conversation with you about it, you can't have them writing your trust, because they're not writing your trust, they're just copy and pasting. So be wary of that. And of course is the status correction, which is there, all there for folks to go and look at. There's also the rights to travel and blah 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 blah. There's loads of shit in there, but most of it is wants, some are desires, some are needs, and folks can go and take what they will. Like I say, we explain most processes. Obviously we can't tell you how to create your own trust, because anybody who thinks that you can be just told how to create your own trust and then go away and create your own trust is absolutely mad. You're not creating a trust, even though you think you are, and it may be in elements a trust, but it's not going to be accepted or stand for anything. So just be very, very wary. Much of muchness going around. You got lots of folks saying, yeah, but is that going to save you? Is that going to do this, that and the other? You know, the bottom line, all we can say is that's what we can do, that's what we have done ourselves, and we don't tell anybody or show anybody anything that we haven't done ourselves. Now that's what we've done to protect ourselves. Now with all of our knowledge, that's what we've done to protect ourselves. Now as far as anybody else is concerned, everybody's got to make their own decisions. Now is it going to stop a bullet? No. Are you going to get a bullet? Don't know. If you are going to get a bullet, can't do no for you. Go and buy a bulletproof vest. If you think that you're going to just be taken away, dragged away, I do not believe in the world a living flesh and blood man evidence can be force vaccinated, taken away, the children taken away, or force vaccinated. That's my opinion. If anybody wants to call me a liar, I know, yes, they have the force to do it, but they don't have the authority to do it. And I don't believe even in this tyrannical world that's coming, they will be deemed to, or showing themselves to give that sort of force. Because as soon as they start to show that sort of force, then it is over, isn't it? And I don't believe that's the way this ends. That isn't the way it ends, in my opinion. This ends with all this fake puppetry coming to an end, with a milk tray man swooping down to save you. There'll be a saviour, and it'll be the grandkids of the ones that are in power now. Just a total new power grab, a new form of slavery that everybody will buy into, because they've been told they've put a stop to this shit. All them deaths and all this. Yes, we can never do it again. It was shocking, the bad times when the world was took over by democracy. As was going to go down in history. Democracy, the biggest fraud known to mankind. But it wasn't. But hey, that's for another day. So what can you do? In all honesty, like I say, the most important thing you can do is learn some shit. Learn who you are, know yourself, and by learn who you are, learn that there is a trust relationship at play. Learn who you are within that trust relationship, learn who the others are within that trust relationship, what the fiduciary capacities are, and how it affects each and every circumstance that you're in. Very, very important. You must learn shit all there to be learned, and it's free information that's available to anybody. Nobody needs to wait for somebody to tell them in particular. People have got this deluded idea that I should tell them this or I should tell them that. Well, if you already know the subject you want to talk about or that you want telling about, why don't you go and research it yourself without Google and see what you come up with, and then start a discussion about it, and that way magic happens. You've read something fresh that I've forgotten, then I'm telling you something that you didn't read. We'll learn something. It's a beautiful world when knowledge is used rather than abused, and the way it works at the minute is absolute abuse, and in my opinion it's because the world's been made bloody lazy. They've been made lazy on purpose. The entire system is designed for convenience, because if everything's convenient to you, you're not going to work at it, and if you're not going to work at it, you're going to forget how to get it. If it isn't given to you, you can't get it, can you? Excuse me. But that is the world of acquiescence at the end of the day. We are absolutely taught to be like that. We're designed to be like that. We're drugged to be like that. The entire system of water, the food, the chemicals that are in there. I defy anybody to empty the cupboards and come up and say that there is no carcinogen, no bad shit, none of these, whatever the bollocks they are in there, not eating MSGs and all of the things that get put into the foods and the waters, that you say zero goes into you. I defy anybody. And I should imagine most folks' cupboards are full of the shit, and I know mine are, and I'm ever so careful with what I eat. Unfortunately my missus isn't, and I have to be very, very careful, semi-conscious, and I can't keep control of what I don't try to control what she wants to do, but I can't keep control of what she wants to eat and how she likes to snack, and occasionally I end up having something that's fairly rotten because I'm starving and there's nothing there, or whatever, I'm too busy and I'm just rushing by. We're all guilty of it, but the reality is it's not anything that you can guarantee you're clean of. It's shit sprayed in the air, it's on the soil of the food that we're growing. So if we grow our own, we'll say, yeah, we got organic this and organic that, and we might think we're ever so clever saying that, fucker. What's in the soil? They've been spraying it. Why did they need to create aluminium and barium resistant crops? Why would that be? Why would that be? So how clean is your food? No disrespect to anybody, because yeah, if you're having a go at getting clean shit, you're doing the very best you can, and you're eating better than me and everybody else if you've got your food coming out your ground. But you know yourself, it's bastardized as well. They've got us all from every angle. So we do our very, very best and get through, don't we? So, hey, did I bounce? I bounced. So, where was we? What can you do? What can you do? Well, did I really bounce? No, not really, because if it was, it bounced into somewhere we should, because it's what you can do. Try and grow your own shit, try and do something, try and do a bit of something, try and source your food better. Try and talk to farmers. I don't know if any of them have got them, well, mind you, most of it goes to diesel. Yeah, try and talk to local farm shops, or talk to whoever to find out other sources. Talk to a really good butcher to find out a really good greengrocer. Talk to a really good greengrocer to find out a really good butcher. And they'll know each other. They do all know each other, because the big boys have got most of everybody. So if there's anybody left, they know each other. Get in the right connections with people who are, somebody tells you in their area they're eating well, ask them where from. Ask them where from. There's no point at the other end of the country asking them where from if you know they're going to farm shops, because it's no good to you, is it? But if they're near you, ask them. If they've got somewhere good, brilliant. If they haven't, maybe you can find them somewhere good. Work together, help each other. We should be helping each other. That's another thing that society's been broken down. Boing, boing, boing. Society has been massively broken down with also the dumbing down, but little things like I think one of the major ones was the stopping the smoking in the pubs. It's always problem, reaction, solution. But yeah, there was a clear problem. People couldn't breathe in a pub. But if a pub's got 2 rooms, they used to call it a tap room and a lounge. I know that because I was brought up in a pub. And the tap room was where all the smokers went, and the lounge was, yes, there was smoking too, but not so much, just like other people, and more area, space, probably better ventilated or whatever. It wasn't the smoky place, but the tap room was, and people had the choice. And maybe choices should have been applied, but if there weren't an agenda, but the agenda didn't want that, and it didn't really care for your health either, because believe it or not, the agendas never care for health. They never care for particulars. They just care for agendas. So when they stopped the smoking in the pubs, that was a huge step on the breaking down of society, the cohesion of society. Pubs were the backbone of society for years and years and years. People met up there, business deals happened there. People found places to live by going into a pub and talking to people. People found everything they wanted by just going to a pub. Ask around at the pub, somebody knows somebody that does something. It was better than the bloody internet. There was no bots interfering. No algorithms feeding you shit. You know, it's like somebody says, hey, I want a house, and some bloke comes along, go, hey, you want a house? Yeah, come here. That guy over there, go down the street there, turn left, turn right, go down there, and you go down there. Say, hello, mate, I want to buy it. Oh yeah, I've got some cows for sale in the shed. That's equivalent of what the fucking bots are doing to us. So yeah, it's society started getting broken down massively. And then everything that's happened since then, if you look at the way things are and the rules and the laws, all about breaking down society to the point where they could say lockdown, and then you lock down, you all go in your houses and you don't give a shit about your next door neighbours. You wouldn't know or care if they dropped dead in most circumstances. And I don't know, I've had neighbours in the past and not even known their fucking name. No, I don't know who they are. And at the time I thought it was brilliant. Yeah, we get left alone, the neighbours don't even know the neighbours, so there's no bother at all. It was brilliant. But was that brilliant? Is that the brilliant thing? Because the days when the neighbours were at the fences, and like, I think they called it sexist, didn't they? When the men went to work and actually earned enough money to support the entire household, and the woman didn't have to work her ass off all week in a job, because she came home and she concentrated, and bless her, and she did a fantastic job in most cases, bless her, she ran the house, had full control of the house, and in 90% of the occasions had the full fuck you as well when the husband didn't have his way or wanted his way. Whatever he wanted, it went through the missus. Everything went through the missus, as I remembered, and that's how it should be, and that's how it was. And even now I run everything through my missus. Hey, do you want this, do you want that, do you want to do this or whatever? It's her decisions. That's how I think it always was. And if somebody thinks it's sexist, it's fucking deluded to think that I would break my arse, break my heart, break my body to earn the crust, to bring the crust home, so she didn't have to. And it was all that was about, breaking the families, making people believe that you was out of order if you thought it was okay for your wife not to have to go to work, because there was shitloads to do at home, and the old one, they was happy to do it. That was the job. It wasn't like the man made them do it. In a few occasions it was topsy-turvy and turned the other way around, and I know it wasn't looked as that way. They call it a man's world, but was it a woman's world really when you think about it? Because the men had to go out and work. And I'm not saying the women didn't work. They worked very hard in the home. But you know, Summer, I bet if you ask the men, they'd rather stay at home and share it and work at home as well, and not have to go out to work. Should we have had to? Can we just make our money and get our remuneration through our skills, or do we need to learn to go back to bartering and exchange, and we do this, so and so down there does that, and between everybody we've got everything covered? I think the world's way too far gone to go back to that sort of shit. Only in a shit hit the fan scenario, probably after about 10-15 years, after most of everybody else killed each other off for what they had, then it could possibly go to that shit. But I don't think much would take it to that shit now. We're too far gone in every aspect. People only think of self. They do just think of themselves now. and nobody ever thinks of anybody else. I'm not nobody ever. Can't really say that, can I? Lots of folks do, but in relation to how many folks are out there and how many folks are doing what, no, most folks it's I'm all right, Jack, fuck you, and that's the attitude you will always get right down to the end. So it is a shit world, but it is what it is. So what can we do? We can be nicer to each other, for starters. We can stay nice to each other and stop the shittiness. People are reactive. I'm really reactive. If somebody's shitty with me, I'm going to be really shitty back. It's something I've worked on for years and years and years, and I've got really good at it now. I mean, and I've managed to get to where I am now, which isn't as shitty as I used to be by far. But in reality, I still have the shitty side when somebody's shitty with me. But I try to be as nice as I can, and I am much nicer than I ever used to be. And because I've learned, I actually woke up to the reality. Woke, that's the thing, isn't it? They're stealing that now. They're stealing it. They're politicising the word woke. But the reality is, when I woke up, I did learn. I learned how we screw each other. I learned how they make us screw each other. And I didn't like it, so I did try the very best to learn how to be better. I then learned what was going on and what was important, what I thought I needed to know for this shit, and that's what I advise anybody to do. And I also spent absolute fortunes and fortunes learning some shit, and that's everybody's own personal journeys, what they want to learn, and there were some really important things that I really needed to learn for my particular journey. That I paid absolute fortunes on courses for. So it is what it is. I know there's folks out there that say everything should be free out there. I tried that. It's about 6 years of fucking giving everything for free and just getting took for a fucking idiot. People come, take what they want, go. Next time they don't want to pay something, they come back and they want it all sorted again. It's just about not paying something. It's not about the important things in life. So eventually I learned my hard way through lessons and advice from very, very good friends we created the Unchained Remedy, which then gives people the opportunity to read and see how it's done themselves. Go in the free sections, which is loads of shit, from DSARs to affidavits of truth, court processors. It's all there. Shit, and that's all free. It's all there to take and enjoy, and the wants and the desires, they're there to talk to us about. But folks, look what's there, look what we do before you come asking for all sorts of things that we don't, because we only have so much time in the day and we can only do so much. But anyway, on that note, it's time I went blah 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 blah. But unchainedremedy.com, have a pop at it, look at the free stuff, take the free stuff, enjoy the free stuff. And if you want one of those that want things done for you, it's there. If you want to protect yourself, your assets, it's there. Whatever you need, it's there. There are some things we don't do, which is run cases for folks, purely because we've got so much going on. We couldn't do it justice. We could not do it justice. And I know folks would say, well, I can't do it and just do this and just do that. But everybody says it. Everybody says it. We get so many asking, and we could not possibly do it. We do, of course, help certain folks along our way. We see what really deserves, and it isn't about getting emails from people with masses of sob stories, because they turn you off. They genuinely turn you off, because you've read so many of them and you can see so many people lay things on so thick, it's just dripping off it, and you've got so much to do, you can't get involved with that. So we do what we can do, and we help who we can help, and we do everything we can, blah blah blah. But on that note, anyway, like I say, I'm going. If you haven't seen unchainedremedy.com, go and do it. But I think most have. So if you have and you've had a flick through it, do yourself a favour, read what we have to say, and download the free stuff and read that shit and learn the shit, because we get asked so many questions of stuff that's there, and we get asked where it is. Can you give us the exact location in your website where this is? Well, if you've got the title, you're pretty much there. You've got to read a document and you'll find it. So no, we can't, because we're really busy. And for us to just give up our time to go into a website, because we don't remember everything per line and where everything is exactly, we have to go and look. and locate it. We know roughly where it is, but so do you. You've got the title and the heading. So a little bit of due diligence, really important. Terms, Black's Law Dictionary. Look first before you ask. Learn something and then tell somebody instead of ask something. And educate somebody else from your own education. Loads of things we can do if we helped each other. But if you really want to protect your assets, you want to protect yourselves, we do offer things there for remuneration. I don't normally plug things, but I'm constantly getting asked, what can we do? What can we do? That's what we can do, in my opinion. And if you don't believe that's going to help you, then what can I say? Best of luck. Whatever you think will, you do what you think will help you. We do what we think will help us, and we don't put anything out there that we haven't done for others. So, or for ourselves, should I say. So we do test everything ourselves before we put it out there. So anyway, have a good one all, and I'll see you all later. Ta-da!